Morning, everybody. This is August 4th. Welcome to our commission meeting. We're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Frank is going to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation stands under God, one nation indivisible with God, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. Ask the clerk to call roll, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
And District 3, Sharon Trask.
And I'm here. Moving on to item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence?
Yes. The Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent in a change of location for Oli Boy and liquor and marijuana licenses that are due to expire. Received a letter from the Office of Financial Management regarding the Coronavirus Relief Fund. The letter was received from the Secretary of the Interior regarding building and rebuilding monuments to American heroes. And Carol Colin sent in a letter of support for the Home Rule Charter.
Great, thank you. Move on to item number 5. In response to the COVID-19 outbreak, we're suspending the citizen input at this time. However, we highly encourage you to send us an email at dlz@masoncounty.wa.us, or you can do the snail mail to Commissioner's Office, 411 North 5th Street, Shelton, 98584. You can always give us a call too at 360-427-9670, extension 419. And since things change quickly and often around here, we will revisit this every week. Moving on to item number 6, adoption of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move adoption of the agenda as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, agenda is adopted. Moving on to item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the July 28th, 2020 regular meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the July 28th, 2020 regular meeting minutes as presented. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Moving on to item number 8, approval of the action agenda. Commissioners will read through the action agenda, and items can be removed for separate discussion and vote. Commissioner Schutte, if you could read items 8.1 through 8.4. Commissioner Netherland, if you could read items 8.5 through 8.8. And I will read 8.9 through 8.11.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 8.1, approval of warrants and treasurer electronic remittances, claims clearing fund warrant number 807-3704 through 807-3878 in the amount of $672,273.14. Direct deposit fund warrant number 69940 through 70328 in the amount of $771,928.92. And salary clearing fund warrant numbers 7005312 through 7005336 in the amount of $549,324.65. Item 8.2, approval to authorize the county engineer to utilize the small works roster to contract out the Valley Rose Culvert Replacement Project. Item 8.3, approval to pay temporary special pay for Michelle Morris for work performed in a higher classification. Item 8.4, approval to execute the interagency agreement with the State of Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife for access to at the Haven Lake community.
Madam Chair, item number 8.5 reads, approval to authorize the county engineer to sign an agreement along with an agreed upon amendments or modifications to the agreement between the county and Cheryl and Richard Alexander, and authorize the county engineer to solicit for bids and execute a contract to construct a new ecology block wall. Item number 8.6, approval to contract with the Public Health Institute for COVID-19 case investigation and contact tracing. Item number 8.7, approval to sign. Item number 8.8, approval to appoint Kathy Shapiro to the Mason County Housing and Behavioral Health Board for a term ending September 30th, 2022.
Item 8.9, approval of the Consolidated Homeless Grant for Housing and Essential Needs, Hand Amendment Number 2. Item 8.10, approval of the Eviction Rent Assistance Program, application to the Washington State Department of Commerce for CARES Act funding in the amount of $500,876. Item 8.11, approval of the contract with Koval's Construction in the amount of $2,272,718 for seismic and tenant improvement work in building number 10. Having read through the agenda, are there any items you would like to have pulled for discussion and a separate vote?
Madam Chair, I would like to have item 8.11 removed, as well as item 8.7.
Okay. Yeah. And I would like to remove item 8.6 as well.
Those are the ones I would have, or two of them I would have removed also, so that's all I have.
Madam Chair, move approval of items 8.1 through 8.11 with the exception of 8.11, 8.7, and 8.6 on today's agenda, which are removed for a separate discussion and vote.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve items 8.1 through 8.11 with removal of 8.11, 8.7, and 8.6 for separate discussion and vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's move on to item 8.6. And I do see that we do have staff available. Dave, could you come forward? Could you unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about 8.6?
That's Dave, and I don't have that document for that. That's the PHI.
Oh, that's the PHI.
PHI. Okay, so we've been working with PHI as the as a provider for contact tracing and testing, and we're going to continue to work on their contract. Their contract is not ready. As we worked on with them yesterday and on late Friday, we found that they are not quite read in on the new CREST system with the state, so we need to put it on pause. My recommendation is we just continue to move forward on the contract and bring that back for approval once we have all those pieces in place. CREST is in place. In the meantime, we are hiring temp employees here to help us with contact tracing from the local community, especially reaching out to some of our more vulnerable populations. So we have pieces in place. This is just something that we need to get done, put in our back pockets in case this thing spikes up again later.
So, Dave, just to be clear, you're asking for us not to approve item 8.6 today?
Right, because the contract is not complete. So they haven't finished their process with DOH as far as integrating into CREST, which is a system that we're going to be using for tracking for a tracking database.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we will remove item 8.6, put that on pause until we have more information. Let's move on to item 8.7. Approval to sign a letter of support for the ADA accessible Sweetwater Creek Waterwheel Park project as requested by the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group. Frank, could you kind of brief us on that one?
Absolutely, Commissioner. On July 30th, we received an email from the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group requesting for a letter of support from the board for their ADA accessible park project. and we reviewed a document yesterday for that letter of support, and that's what we have on the action agenda today.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions or additional comments?
Madam Chair, I have a couple of comments to make. First off, I have yet to see the letter. I haven't seen a copy of that letter yet. That's number one. Number two, this has actually been an issue in the past 24 hours that I've heard from quite a few people, both proponents and opponents of it. And the thing that kind of stands out to me the most, and why I think this might not be ripe yet for a letter of support from the Commission, is that it appears, even from the Executive Director of the Port of Allen, that there are going to be some additional conversations about this project happening hopefully soon. I understand that there is a time constraint for getting this application in to the RCO, and I want to be respectful of that, but at the same time, if one of the primary sponsors of the project is not completely there in terms of having all the conversation needed for support, I would be hard pressed to get in front of them in this process. So those are some of the concerns that I've heard and that I do share over the past 24 hours. At this point, I'm not going to be able to support the letter. That being said, I think we should always be looking for additional park space in our county, and especially park space that provides access for the ADA community who need to have recreation opportunities as well. So I'm hopeful that those two sides, those primary sponsors of the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group and the Port of Allen, can figure out how to move forward on this. But until they do, I don't have confidence that we should be getting in the middle of it at this point.
Madam Chair, if you don't mind. May I?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah. I would hope you would change your mind, Commissioner. This has been well vetted out. All of a sudden, the same players are involved that were involved before. This letter from the commission chair that came, on commission letterhead and email account and everything, appears it shouldn't have happened. I talked this morning to the other commissioners, and that should never have happened that way. The other two commissioners had supported it all the way through the past. There is nothing before them to support or not to support. They had already supported it, and they're still supportive of us just re-upping our letter of support, and that's all this is the re-upping of it. This project is a huge, incredible, beautiful project. The idea of bringing ADA accessible fishing area, park, and accessible park right into the middle of downtown Belfair is huge. And as you all know, grant opportunities don't come up every single day, and this one is here. Even if something was to change, which it doesn't look like from this email that I just received, the port can still decide not to do it, but they're not. I really doubt they're ever going to do that. So I'd still like to ask that we still support this, and with that, I'll actually put forward a motion. If it dies, select second. But this is just too important to my community up there in the north to be able to have a park like this. If it's ever an opportunity, this is the time. So with that being said, Madam Chair, I'll move for the approval to sign a letter of support for the ADA accessible Sweetwater Creek Waterwheel Park project as requested by the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group.
Well, I think I hesitate to move forward, me personally. We have received communications from Ken Van Buskirk and Gene Farmer, both opposing the letter of support, and then I received phone calls. So I, like Commissioner Schutte, have received both sides of support and opposition to the letter and to the grant. Mindy sent me an email from the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group, and it's a beautiful rendition, and I would love to see the park there. But what I think with everything that's going on, the difficulties to communicate with COVID, I don't feel comfortable signing a letter. I would like to know more about the issues that some people might have. So I think I would like to maybe table this for a week or two, just to get some, and I do understand that there's a deadline. So I would hesitate to move this forward without more community input.
Yeah, and I want to clarify a couple of things too. One, I didn't receive an email or a letter on port letterhead from a port commissioner. I received an email from the executive director of the port, who said that there would be more conversations happening there. Number one. Number two, aside from all of the points for and against this project, which, again, completely supportive of doing park projects, especially those that improve access for the ADA community, I have not seen the letter. And I think that on its face is enough of a reason to not second a motion regarding the letter. I'm not going to see a letter here during this meeting. I don't know that that's good process. And so I think that on its own is enough of a reason for me to be supportive of tabling this, in addition to all the other concerns that have been raised.
I would agree with that, Kevin. I actually pulled mine offline, so I just assume you have it because you're the one, you're always online. So I got mine offline, the letter.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was sent to me. I will make sure that email from the chair of the port is sent to the other two as well. I assume he sent it to all three, but it looks like he may have only sent it to me. Okay.
And again, I hope both sides, and we're involved in the conversation, I hope we can find a resolution to this and move a good project forward. I do agree that it is much needed.
Yep, I agree. I agree as well, and I'd like to bring this back after we have more information. All right, let's move on to item number 8.11, and ask staff to come forward to unmute yourself and give us a little bit of background on this.
Absolutely, commissioners. The Building 10 retrofit for oversized courtrooms due to the pandemic and the need to accommodate both district and superior court in a oversized courtroom environment has required us to move forward with the tenant improvement work of the Building 10 project. Because of the pandemic resolution, the emergency resolution that the board has passed, we've moved forward attempting to follow the RFP process as closely as possible without actually doing an RFP because of the timing issue. We had plans and items finished for bid the middle of July, toward the middle to the end of July. We had 3 contractors bid on that project. We received those bids last Thursday. We opened the bids. We discussed the bids in briefing yesterday and recommended to put the bid out for contract to Koval Construction for $2,278,000 roughly. 50% of that will be paid for out of the CARES Act funding, and the 50% of it approximately will be paid for out of READ 1. There will be no dollars spent out of the general fund or recurrent expense fund to fund this project.
All right, do we have any questions for staff?
I do not.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of 8.11. Approval of the contract with Koval Construction, the amount of $2,272,718 for seismic and tenant improvements work in Building 10.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of the contract with Koval's Construction in the amount of $2,272,718 for seismic and tenant improvement work in Building 10. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it is approved. Do we have any further discussion about our action agenda? I would like to welcome Kathy Shapiro to the Mason County Housing and Behavioral Health Board. We had amazing applicants, and it was a difficult decision. And so that just proves that we've got so many amazing people in Mason County. And welcome, Kathy. All right, let's move on to item number 9. Other business. Do we have any department heads or elected officials that would like to say anything to the board? Seeing nobody light up. Well, let me rephrase that. Seeing nobody unmute themselves, we'll move on to item 10, our public hearings. And at this time, we do not have any hearings scheduled. We are trying to limit those with the to comply with the governor's restrictions. Moving on to item number 11, board reports and calendar. Commissioner Netherland, if you would go first, Commissioner Schutte, and then I will follow.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for clarification, the email that I'm sending to you, it was not on letterhead, it was an email from the Port of Allen email from the chair and signed as the port commissioner. And I'll make sure that all gets over to you on that. So we attend our area command, Board of Health meetings, finance committee meetings, cemetery meetings, briefing, executive session, left board, and other things with the community. This next week we have area command. I have the really exciting WIRA 15 meeting, the all-day meeting. Oh, I love that one. Mason Transit Authority policy. We have some webinars and a few others.
All right, and we will not be meeting again until the 25th. Do you have anything else going on?
I have a lot going on. I didn't go that far ahead. I don't know if we'll let you guys speak, and if it looks like we're going to be meeting for anything, then we'll get together, because I do have the Orca board meeting. I have, quite a few other things in between all that. EDC, there's a lot, so I don't think we're going to cover for 3 weeks. If something comes up, we'll just have to announce it.
Okay. Commissioner Schutte?
Okay, yeah, just a few things looking ahead. This afternoon I have the Mason County Crisis Response meeting, which is a offshoot of the Thurston Mason BHASO group, talking about getting crisis response coordinated in the county for mental health, behavioral health clients. Also, later this week, have a meeting of the Alliance for a Healthy South Sound, Hood Canal Shellfish Initiative, which is a subgroup of the Hood Canal Coordinating Council, as well as MACECOM, RIA 14, Mason County Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Policy Group. Looks like we'll also have a Mason Transit meeting, a regular meeting of the Hood Canal Coordinating Council, and a Thurston Mason BHASO governance meeting, all before we are back for regular briefings on the 24th.
Great, thank you. So today I have a Safe Start meeting with WASAC, Social Services Education meeting with our with many members of our community. We have our EOC meetings every other morning. Public Works Board on Friday, and another WASAC COVID weekly or bi-weekly meeting. Monday, I have the COVID relief meeting, Mason Transit Finance Committee meeting. And then an education group meeting later in the week, Turning Point board meeting and another WASAC meeting. We've got a lot of WASAC meetings, I think. And then I have the canvassing board on the 17th and the 18th. And then the WASAC meeting, and then we are back here.
Madam Chair, did we catch the Mason Transit Authority meeting?
I think I mentioned it, and I don't know if either of you know for sure, but I also have a ribbon cutting for Mason Transit on the same day at the same time. I assume that's part of their Radich building project. Is that happening at the same time?
Yep, I forgot about that as well.
Okay.
We'll all be there.
Okay. One quick question. So as I look at our weekly schedule that Diane publishes for us, we have the EOC meetings on there pretty regularly. I was wondering if it would be prudent for us to also add back the WASAC meetings so that we're covered on those. I know I pop in and out as I'm available, and so that way we can just notice it on there once a week, and instead of worrying about something over the next couple of weeks if we've been covered or not through our announcement today.
Right, I agree, and there's many times when we are informed the day before that there's going to be a meeting. So WASAC is very busy with what's going on in the state, and I think that's a great idea. Commissioner Netherland?
I agree with that. It made it state better safe than sorry. It always sucks going in there and then turning it around because you see another commissioner, you just don't even, at least I don't take a chance. I walk in and see one of you guys, something we're going to be taking any type of testimony, that's considered natural use if I walk out.
Usually there's over 100 people on those meetings, so they're well attended and full of great information. All right, we've come to item number 12.
Madam Chair, move for adjournment.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned.
Good day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Guys.